Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and this afternoon I'm joined by Anthony, Sean and Liam. We're here to talk about Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. I was just saying there, Anthony, wee bit like the Dundee United game where we kind of controlled it, got all the possession, created loads of chances, and we managed to get a goal.
Well, Santa Claus has come early because that was a wee gift right at the end there. I think we definitely deserve to be leading the game. We've dominated possession and dominated the chances, and really Aberdeen have defended resolutely. But unfortunately for Aberdeen fans, Mitov right at the end there, I don't know why he wouldn't put his foot through it, but he decided to try and pass it out. My head has pounced, and unfortunately, Loban's the one who's seen red for a last man challenge. So, like you say, it's nothing more than we deserve in the sense of being in front. But like I said, it's a nice wee gift there, right on half time. So a wee shot in the arm, hopefully, and we'll see what happens in the second half.
I think it's vital to talk about just how pivotal that may well be, because we have seen first half performances, Sean, and then they tail off in the second half. The opposing manager is able to switch it in the second half, and we seem pretty rigid and we can't deal with that. But I think Anthony's right. That sending off is going to be a massive moment of the game. No question, even from the resident ref, I'm hoping.
No question. I can see why he's upset, because it's a pretty soft, it's a foul, right? But it's the foul itself in any other context is not even a yellow card or a foul. It's just a foul. But because of what the other players, the goalkeeper in particular, has done, it's put him in a position where that soft foul is denied Maeda being through 1-on-1 and goal. And it's not malicious, it's not reckless, it's not dangerous, it's nothing other than a plain old foul. But because of what the goalkeeper's done, it has to be a red card, even though it's still 30 yards from goal. And Maeda's about to get through and get a shot off. It's a definite red card. VAR reviewed it. There was no question really. Aberdeen have not. They've had their trustees had to do 2 last-ditch tackles, which is still. So we're still concerned. We're still looking a bit shaky at the back, and we have missed so many chances. So many chances. Johnny Kenny, two. You might have 2 first names, but you can't buy a goal right now. Like, the amount of chances that guy misses is just. If he fell out a boat right now, you wouldn't hit water. It's just complete loss of belief. I don't know what's going on with him. We should be out of sight, even red card notwithstanding. And we've seen this story, and I hope it's not the same refrain in the second half.
This is the thing, because Johnny Kenny is like the last man standing, Liam. He's got to play. He's the only recognised striker, really, that we've got, unless you want to bring on Shin. And I don't think Shin Yamada covered himself in glory the other night there. Again, I feel a bit sorry for him. He's thrown after, I think, 6 games, not being in the squad. The last time against Hearts, he had been at the squad for 7 or 8 games prior to getting thrown on. So I do feel for him. But Johnny Kenny, there was a wee glimmer of hope, I think, under Martin O'Neill, that he might be a decent enough squad player, scores his goal against Rangers. But that's 2 games on the bounce where he's missing 2 or 3 chances that he's got to score, Liam.
Yeah. I think Johnny Kenny's a confidence player, and the one thing that is lacking throughout the entire team right now is confidence. You could see it with the build-up play was good. We created plenty of chances, but we've only taken 1 of them. And if not for that red card, I would be feeling very anxious going into the second half. As it is now, I'm just anxious. Surely we've got to see it out now. Surely. A goal up, 10 men, and Aberdeen have only offered what we've offered to them in an attacking sense. It's only our defensive frailty that's given them even a sniff of a chance. But even if we win 3 or 4-0 today, it changes nothing, really. It will be used as a justification by the board, maybe to keep the manager for a while longer. But I think we all know this. This is borrowed time.
I'm picking up on something we spoke about before the game there, Liam, where we were talking about Paul Tisdale taking a holiday. And, in any other walk of life, it'd be like, no, you're not taking holidays at this moment in time in relation to the fact that it's Christmas. And also, there's a few players to sign. There's a bit of work to be done here, Paul. Michael Nicholson confirmed that 3 members of staff had apparently been assaulted after the St Mirren game. And one of them... Alleged. One of them, we've got it on good authority, was actually Paul Tisdale, who had apparently been grabbed around the throat. So it may not be as cut and dry as, I fancy a wee week off here. It might be involved in, it might be connected rather to that incident whereby he needs some time off. Or it might even be that he's chucked it. He's not at the football club at the moment. And if that's the case, then we've got an even bigger issue. That's all speculation, of course. The fact that he's been grabbed isn't, because that came from a source who was there. Now, let's have a look at some of these comments before we talk about the goal and what we hope to see in the second half. Now, Ewan, the big man, Big Ewan Martin, he's been a fan of Yang. I'm not going to call you a fanboy, Ewan, because I know what age you are, but you've been a fan of Yang for a long time. You're in the Yang gang. What about Yang's performance? I think he's been decent when he's had the ball, but we're not utilising him enough, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably been a situation all season where we really haven't utilised our right side much at all. Everything that seems to be threatening from Celtic this season has come down the left-hand side, and ultimately Yang had to be on the left-hand side to actually get involved and start the move for the goal. So loses possession, cuts inside, loses possession, and then he presses hard on the left side, wins it back, and then it's an excellent move that gets us the goal. So played into McCowan, who slips through Maeda. And for once, we actually look up and pick a player out, and Nygren has the whole goal to aim at and does the business and gets us, like I say, justly in front. But as much as we've had a lot of possession, a lot of attack, like we've probably created 3 clear-cut chances, that being one of them, and then the 2 that Kenny spurred. So the one very early where he slid in and missed, and then the one where he's sort of had the chance to look up and take a shot, and he's sort of sprayed it wide. So as much as we're creating chances to a point, a lot of them are half chances, but we finally take one of our good chances, and like I say, deserve to be in front. But to answer your question, Paul, Yang, I think, has had a reasonable game. I think he's one of the ones who's slowly growing into that position, because obviously he's playing in a position that he's, I don't think he's familiar with. But I feel that he's one that's slowly getting, better in that sort of position. He did whip a couple of good crosses in, but again, most of our threat, for whatever reason, has been coming down our left-hand side this season.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say a big shout out to the Celtic TV media team, because what they've actually served up at half time in terms of content creation is quite absurd. We've got the Celtic women's team having a Christmas rapping competition at half time, and I don't mean hip hop.
God's sake!
Yeah, Liam. They know how to read a room. So brilliant, the fact that not only do I subscribe to Celtic TV, that I've just paid a tenner for the game. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that. What I'll do tomorrow is I'll watch it again just for the halftime entertainment, I'm sure. Sean, we're talking about a player there in Yang who might be one of the only bright sparks from that almost forgettable transfer window when Brendan first comes in. Just about everybody else has been thrown on the scrap heap. I think Bernardo comes in as a permanent, having been here as a loan player as well. But just as he's getting into his stride almost, there is obviously talk that he might be leaving the football club in the winter. It could be Birmingham, it could be Norwich City. What do you do with a guy like Yang, particularly when you look at the lack of depth we've got at the moment?
Well, I think you pretty much covered all the points there. You're doing quite a lot of retro action there to call him a bright spot. But
sorry, I was just taking my attention was taken away from that content with the sellotape and the Christmas wrapping paper. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
£12.99 for that, by the way.
Yeah, wrapping a football is quite tricky, I will admit. But yeah, Yang would have been gone if we had competent squad management. He would already be gone. As it is, we've got two. We had 4 left wingers. 2 of them have just gone to the AFCON. One of them's playing today, and but we've currently got Johnny Kenny's. Yeah. Anyway, so on Yang, yes, I do think he has had a good half, relatively speaking. I think McCowan and Negron have also had a good half. Calmac at times was a real driving force. So I think our midfield and Yang have been pretty strong. Maeda as well, but it just falls apart in that fulcrum at the front. Like it's just abject. So we have played well, but can we repeat that in the second half? I'm optimistic we'll win because Aberdeen are down to 10 men. I'm optimistic. I was optimistic before the game because Aberdeen have just came back from a European game in Prague on Thursday night. So I think we should be like sick of saying we should be winning games, right? Well, the fact is we're not. Midweek after the game, Nancy and even Jim Goodwin and even some pundits on various media outlets said Celtic dominated, Dundee United were lucky to not be miles behind at halftime. And that's fine. That's a valid observation if you've not lost the 3 games beforehand. So you can be unlucky in one game, but you don't get unlucky in 4 games. So if we don't win this game today, that's, man, season's over. And we've already had a result today, and then with the teams around us, with the team in first beating the team in fourth. So we know where we stand coming out this weekend before we go to Livingston, if we can, well, in terms of whatever our result is today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to come to you now, Anthony, in relation to the goal scorer, Benjamin Negron. I've been a wee bit up and down with Benji Negron this season because he seems to have that bit where he can score and create goals, but he's inconsistent, he lacks pace, he can sometimes have a pretty poor game. Where are you with Benji Negron? He starts today, he gets the goal, so no complaints, but overall, where are you with the player?
Could easily be Celtic's most frustrating player. I think he's got an eye for a run, so he knows how to get in the right. He takes up the right positions. So in that sort of number 10 role, or with Wilfred Nancy's formation, those sort of 2 players that play behind the striker, he sort of fits into that position, and he takes up those positions really well. But then that's sometimes all you get. So he gets the ball and he either gives it away, he has a shot from a stupid angle, it goes, there's one in 4 minutes in where he blazes it a million miles over the bar. But you give him enough chances, he will score. So if you feed him enough times, 1 in 5, 1 in 6, he'll probably score your goal. And that explains why he's got as many goals and assists as he has. He just needs a lot of chances to convert one of those. And that's probably symptomatic of the whole front 3 that Celtic have played all season. Like we haven't been very proficient at converting chances. And I think that's why Martin O'Neill got the success that he did, because he just said, let's go more direct. Let's just create more chances. And if we create more chances, well, we'll score more goals because it's just a numbers game. And I think Benjamin Negron really falls into that category. He's £1.5 million, I think we paid for him. I think he's about a £1.5 million player. Like he doesn't have that ton of pace, so you can't really play him out wide. But he's just one of these guys that he'll pop up, and like I say, if he pops up often enough, he'll usually get on the end of something. And he took his chance well. I mean, like I said, it's a good pick out from Maeda. He had the space. You'd expect a Celtic player to score that, but, this season, all bets are off. But, yeah, to answer your question, frustrating. And I totally understand where you're coming from by saying up and down, because he's definitely one of those sorts of players. But he's on the score sheet and we're 1-0 up, so take it.
Yeah, you take it every day, you're right. 8 goals, 5 assists this season. He's the most productive Celtic player in the squad. Maeda, I'm going to come to you with this one, Liam. You told us all about him before he came to Celtic. You know the player pre-Celtic. He's had a tough patch of form, but he's getting into good positions himself as well, and he's creating a lot for his teammates. Johnny Kenny, for example, and of course Negron. Will he stay is the big question. What's the chat over in Japan?
Word is he's staying until the World Cup, which is kind of on one hand, it means that if Japan have a good World Cup, which I think they will, I think they'll get at least to the second round, then his value goes up, and hopefully Celtic will certainly get more money from them than we get now, despite the fact that he would be entering the last year of his contract. If teams want him, they'll still pay for him, even if he's only got a year left on his deal, especially after a World Cup. So it makes sense for the player, because he saw what happened to Kyogo in January last year. Went to, what was a bigger league, a smaller team, and has not been seen in a Japan shirt for almost a year. You know, he got his one token call up, and that was it.
We might be able to swap Yang for Kyogo then in January.
Do you know, that's not as daft as it sounds. I actually wrote a blog a wee while ago suggesting that very thing. Now, I don't buy the story being put out today.
Was that a save or a post? I think that was a good header at the back post. That very good
we just
chance.
kicked off again. Right, I'll shut up.
No problem. Go and enjoy the second half, ladies and gents. It's a save. It's actually
a save.
From Trusty at the back post. Right, I'll let you go and watch the game, ladies and gents. Join us at full time on a Celtic State of Mind.